Deep in Brazil's Amazon, a rusting water tower rises above the trees. It belonged to Henry Ford's boldest experiment, a factory city built to control rubber from seedling to tire. Ford could standardize a car down to the second, but here the assembly line met a system it could not command.
In the 1920s, rubber was strategic infrastructure. Cars needed it for tires, hoses, belts, seals, and insulation. Yet most plantation rubber came from Southeast Asia under British and Dutch colonial influence. Ford hated that dependency, so instead of negotiating a supply contract, his company tried to build an entire source of rubber from scratch. In 1927, Ford acquired a tract of roughly 2.5 million acres along the Tapajós River in Pará, Brazil, about 10,000 square kilometers. Machinery and prefabricated buildings traveled by ship into the interior. The plan was vertical integration on a continental scale. Trees would produce latex. Latex would become tires. Tires would roll beneath Ford cars.
The company built power and water systems, a modern hospital, schools, workshops, an industrial waterfront, and rows of American-style houses. Archival photographs show cleared grids cut into the forest. This was more than a plantation. Fordlandia was supposed to prove that efficient industry and a carefully managed town could remake almost any place. But the design carried assumptions from Michigan into a climate, landscape, and society that worked differently. Workers received comparatively attractive cash wages and public services, but management also imposed a rigid clock and rules on life outside the fields. Alcohol was restricted. Cafeteria meals replaced familiar local food. In December 1930, anger over the dining system exploded into the revolt remembered as the Quebra-Panelas, the smashing of pots. Managers fled, while workers damaged company property. It could not manufacture consent. The decisive failure, though, was biological. Wild rubber trees in the Amazon are scattered through diverse forest, where distance helps interrupt pests and disease. Ford's plantation packed them into orderly rows. As their leaves joined into a continuous canopy, South American leaf blight gained a highway from tree to tree. The company later hired rubber specialist James Weir and shifted major planting to Belterra, but disease, poor soils, and hard lessons kept production far below the dream. Factory efficiency had created ecological vulnerability. By 1945, after investing well over $10 million, Ford sold the plantations to the Brazilian government for a small fraction of that amount. The project never became a significant source of rubber for Ford's global system. Fordlandia's buildings remained, but the original industrial promise collapsed around them. Fordlandia is often told as a story about arrogance. Its deeper lesson is about systems. A supply chain is not just boxes and arrows. It is climate, soil, disease, labor, culture, and knowledge built in a particular place. Capital can copy a factory quickly. It cannot copy the relationships that make a landscape productive. In Fordlandia, the jungle did not defeat technology. Reality defeated a model that left too much of reality out.